So something I've always known but has been very apparent lately is that I'm really bad at sticking to a TBR. It's the end of the month right now and I didn't read a single book off my TBR. Last month I didn't either. And so I was preparing for this month's TBR, my July TBR, and I thought about doing it a little differently. This is not going to be a typical TBR. I'm not going to give you like a list of books I want to read this month. What I've come to realize is that by setting a TBR, I'm making reading a demand. And by that, I mean that by choosing the books at the start of the month that I'd like to read, I'm telling myself that I have to do that, and I do have issues with demand, and once I feel like I have to do something or I'm being told I have to do something, I just can't do it. So rather than doing that, this month I want to share with you a bunch of books that I'm excited about. I might not read them, I might read them, who knows, but there's a lot of books that I would like to read and that I'm excited about but haven't been able to because it feels like a demand. So let's just get started. It's just off camera, but one of the cubes in my shelf is where my TBR sits. And right now it's absolutely packed because it's kind of been collecting over the months of me not reading my TBR. But it's also just books that I'm really excited about, things I've bought more recently. So that's where we're gonna start. Oh no. So, So this is what that pile currently looks like. But let's go through it. This first book is one that I really so badly want to read, but I knew I wanted to read it in physical form. So after it came out, I was looking for it everywhere, but it was sold out everywhere I looked. But I did finally get my hands on it, and that is Babel by R.F. Kuang. I'm really excited about this book, but it is a little scary. Like, I didn't think it would be this huge. It's quite thick. So it is a little scary, but it does seem really interesting. Also, the cover is so beautiful, and I was flicking through it earlier. It has like the most beautiful like maps. This one in particular, I don't know why, but I think it's just gorgeous. But this is something I'm really excited about. I've definitely heard that like some people love it, some people don't, but I want to read it. I really want to read it. Another one is Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. I think this is the most beautiful book I've ever bought. And like, I don't actually know much about this book, but I just think it's pretty. And so I would like to get to it eventually. It also just like feels really nice. You know when books they just are good? The physical objects, like this just, I like it. This next one is one that I haven't read because it became a demand as soon as it came out. And that is I Kissed Shara Wheeler by Casey McQuiston. I love Casey McQuiston's other books. They're here. I love Red, White, Royal Blue. I loved One Last Stop. And so I was so excited when this was announced, and when it came out, I bought it the day it came out, but I felt like I had to read it because it's by this author I love. And so it became a thing where I just didn't want to because I felt like I had to, which is super fun. But this sounds like something I'll enjoy and I want to read it, but also I've been struggling so much to read lately, like it's not even funny. Another one, very similar situation, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. I bought it the day it came out. My reading like backstory, my origin story as a reader revolves around the Hunger Games. It's the first series I read when I was 12, I think, and it like completely took over my life. I was the Hunger Games girl at my school, like every part of my life revolved around those books. And so obviously I was excited about this, but I felt like I had to read it, and so I didn't read it. It's so frustrating. Like, I wish I wasn't the way that I am. But I am, so it's whatever. This book even has my bookmark in it ready to go because I've tried so many times, but I can't even like open to the first page and read. Like, it's just so difficult for me, but I do want to get to this before the movie comes out. I've been saying that. First it was I want to read it when it comes out. Then it was before a movie trailer comes out. The trailer's out And I know what happens in the book. I've watched reviews and stuff. One that I really enjoyed was by Lena Norms. I know what happens in this book, but I want to read it for myself. So I've thought about getting the audiobook for this book, but I want to read the physical thing. I'm hoping this next month not having a TBR works out for me. I'm not going to put any of these books back on my TBR shelf. I'm going to leave that clear. Because I want to feel like zero pressure around reading, which is really difficult. The next book that I want to read is one that I know I'm going to enjoy, or I think I'm going to enjoy, which makes it hard for me to read, and that is Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. This sounds like everything I'd enjoy. Everyone I've heard talk about it, and the way it's explained, I'm like, yeah, perfect for me. But here we are, I still haven't read it. Another one is An Absolutely Remarkable Thing. Oh my god, that's so hard to say. Another one is An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green. I love Hank Green because I'm a normal person that exists. I've loved Hank for so long. And everything I've heard about this book as well, to be fair, it's not much. I don't know a lot about this book, but what I have heard sounds really good and sounds like something I'd enjoy. But here we are again. Yeah, it is what it is. There are two doves. Oh my god. They're sitting right near my window. They look so perfect. Anyway, I think part of my problem is that my TBR is stored quite low on my shelves because I don't know if I enjoy those books, so I don't want them to be where everyone can see them, which I think is fair. But I'm very much the kind of person who, like, if I don't see something, it kind of doesn't exist to me. So that's why I generally set TBRs, so I can like go to my main TBR, pick out the books I want to read. Because like I couldn't tell you what's in my physical TBR right now, so I am gonna go have a look really quick, see which ones I'm like pretty excited about right now, okay? I'll see you in a moment. Okay, I grabbed 5 more. We're starting with one that I think I have a decent reason that I haven't read yet, and that is You Will Get Through This Night by Daniel Howell. This is like a self-help book. I have been following Dan Howell since, Jesus, like so long ago. I did actually start reading this once. I got 30 pages in. I don't remember any of those 30 pages. But I'd like to like actually read it and pay attention to it because, like, let's be honest, I could use all the help I can get. But that's something that I need to be in the right place for. I can't just like casually pick it up between work. But I really do want to read it. Even just from a place of like, I've followed this guy for so long, I want to like support him and like read his work, I guess. This next lot all have their reasons that I want to read them and that I haven't read them. The next book I'd like to get to is one that I actually started once, apparently. I start things and completely forget. This is not good. I got 12 pages in, a whole 12 pages, but that is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I have finally like caught up on a lot of Leigh Bardugo's books. I just did a reread of Shadow and Bone and I read the Nikolai books, which like, don't get me started. I really love Leigh Bardugo's books, but I've had this for so long. I started this before I had read maybe any of her other books. Maybe I had read the Shadow and Bone series, but again, everything I've heard about this sounds like something I'd enjoy, and I just haven't read it, so I do really want to get to it. I know that Hellbent is out. I don't know if this is a duology, a trilogy, more than that, but yeah, I do really want to get to this. Another one is Circe by Madeline Miller. Ooh, I caught it. This cover is beautiful. I don't think I've ever looked at it properly. Wow. I mean, it's Madeline Miller. I feel like I bought this because I enjoyed The Song of Achilles. I read that in, I think, 2017 because I was reading it during private study at school and had to stop because I was going to start crying in the middle of a very crowded room. But I'd love to read Circe. I've heard good things. I don't know what it's about though. I'm not very like well versed in mythology, but we'll see. Next up is Once There Were Wolves by Charlotte McConaughey? I'm really bad at names. but I have heard really good things about this author, and this is kind of like climate fiction from what I've heard. And if you know me in person, you know that I'm really annoying about like sustainability and stuff. But yeah, this is something that I really want to read just to like, not necessarily learn more, but just, I don't know. I do like to surround myself with not necessarily climate fiction, but like information about the climate, I guess. I don't know. I've heard good things, and the cover's really pretty. But yeah. And lastly, this is a book that I've owned for a bit now, but have never even tried to read. I watched the TV show and loved it, and the second season's coming out, and I just want to read the book, and that is Good Omens by Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman. This cover is beautiful. I've seen a lot of different covers for this book, but I do really love this one. I bought the book before I had watched the show, and since then I've watched the show many times. In literally the last 2 weeks I've watched the whole show probably 4 times because I just keep putting it on. It's definitely in my current rotation of like comfort media, but yeah, I loved it. Season 2 is coming out really soon. I love, hang on, let me find one. I don't know if there's gonna be like spoilers on the page. I just want to show you the little symbol for like paragraph breaks because I think it's really cute. It's like a little hourglass with bat wings. I think it's adorable. Anyway, look at them. Oh, anyway, okay, that's all of them. You should see. Great. I genuinely have like 20 books out on my bed right now. I didn't talk about all of them, but that's gonna be fun to put away. So yeah, I don't know what I've even been saying. So yeah, I guess this month I don't have a TBR. I might not touch any of those books that I just mentioned. These are all books that I'm excited about, that I want to read, but I'm going completely demand-free this month. I'm gonna read when I want to read, if I want to read, and who knows, maybe at the end of the month I'll be not doing a wrap-up because maybe there won't be any books to talk about. But maybe by taking away the pressure of feeling like I have to do something, I'll do it more, which is definitely how things usually work for me. But yeah, that's all I've got for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Let me know if there's any books that you really want to read but just feel like you can't. Maybe it's a demand issue, maybe it's because of the hype around it. Let me know. You can subscribe. I upload twice a week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.